In this video I wanted to do a comparison between the Leica Q3, the Fuji X100V and the Ricoh GR3. Now I owned all of those cameras, but ending up staying with the Leica Q3, as you probably know if you're following this channel. And I don't think this is the right choice for everyone. I think it's a specific kind of mindset and photography, and in this video I really want to share with you my personal experience with all of those cameras. So I also share with you photos from each camera so you can get the general perspective, the color and the focal length, everything else. But just for you know, I had those other cameras, the Fuji and the Ricoh, a long time ago, so my style of photography is a bit changed since then, but you can get the general idea. So my first camera on this list was the Ricoh GR3. I bought this camera because I wanted a small compact camera that I can carry with me everywhere and take photos on the street without anyone watching me. Because I was a little shy at my first street photography journey, and I wanted to be able to take this with me everywhere, not caring about the big equipment and the gear that I need to take with me. And I also had my Canon gear back in the days, so I wanted something different and small that is a completely different system from what I used to, with a fixed prime lens. And I searched online and saw the Ricoh community, and I was really excited about that. And the greatest feature about the Ricoh GR3 is really its small size. I literally carry it with me in my pockets, in my jeans pockets every day, and it was a little bit not very manual friendly at first. It took time until I got used to the system because it's really different from my Canon that I had. But once I got used to this, it was really like a second nature to me, as all cameras actually. When you get used to the system, it starts to be really natural to operate this. So I use the snap focus option a lot on the street, which means that I can pre-fix my focus distance between me and the subject and just take quick photos on the street without having to autofocus or adjust my settings accordingly. It was really fast and comfortable to use, and I really enjoyed for the first time the 28mm focal length. It was my first time experimenting with this wide lens, and it was different from what I was used to with my other lenses. The size of the Ricoh and the quality, the image quality that came out of this photo was just amazing and mind-blowing, how this small size sensor camera can produce those amazing images. But the reason that I had a problem with the Ricoh GR3 is that in my style of photography, I really enjoy cropping in my photos. And the 26 megapixel sensor was good enough when I used this in full size, but when I wanted to crop through the image, sometimes I would get pretty much 12 megapixel image, and it was just not enough good, and the image quality was not satisfying for me. And this is when I started to look at the Leica system and the Leica Q series in particular, which has a 60 megapixel sensor which I could crop all the way, and it was really appealing to me. But the price was super expensive, and I got confused there and put this on the side because I thought it's too much to invest in camera, especially a prime fixed lens, and I didn't know the whole Leica thing when I just started looking at this. I just wanted to do a street photography. And when I looked online, I also saw the Fuji X100V, as I'm sure you already know this amazing camera. So this is, I believe, the only camera that now is more expensive when it first launched, and there is a reason for that. The Fuji X100V is really somewhere in between, in my opinion, the Ricoh and the Leica. The price is not so expensive as the Leica, as you probably already know, but the image quality is amazing. It's equivalent to 35 millimeter focal length, and I didn't like that focal length, unfortunately. I tried to manage it, and I don't know what was my problem with this camera that I bought after the Ricoh, but I only owned this camera for about 3 months. And in my opinion, it wasn't as fun to use as the Ricoh, and it was not super compact and comfortable to carry it with me everywhere. I like the build quality of the Fuji and the feel that it's vintage, special camera, and I like the simulation that the Fuji owns, the film simulations. I believe that if I would took more time to invest in this X100V, I would finally get used to the 35 focal length, and I think that I didn't give it much of a try, but this camera just wasn't inspiring for me. With the Ricoh, I just want to grab this every day and take this with me, and even with my Canon, but the Fuji just didn't work out for me personally. Having said that, I think the Fuji is the most suitable for most people out there if you're looking between those three cameras. It feels, the build quality is great and the film simulations are great. I can't really say anything really bad about this camera. Maybe because of this APS-C sensor, I would expect that the camera will be smaller, that I can literally fit it into my pockets, but it was pretty much big. It was kind of like my Leica, but the Leica Q3, but the lens was a bit shorter, so yeah, it's smaller, but it wasn't fitting into my pockets. So after a lot of buying and selling mistakes, I realized that I take photos every day. I love taking photos. This is my professional. I'm a photographer. This is what I want to do. So I decided to take this leap and invest in the Leica Q3 about a year ago. To do that, I had to sell all of my old equipment, including my Canon and Fuji, Ricoh, everything, and add a little extra to get this Q3. Now, this decision that I made was the best one out of everything else that I bought in photography. And I came to realize that if I do something every day and I really enjoy doing this, so part of the thing and the enjoyment is to invest in something that I really love. And I think that the Leica Q3 for me is so inspiring and leads me to do more of what I want to do. If you're thinking about getting one of those three cameras, I think it's really important you ask yourself how much you're going to use this. Is it a hobby or something you want to do every single day? And if the answer for that is yes, I'm going to do this every single day or pretty much every single day, so it's really nice to invest in something that you're going to enjoy and get the maximum out of it. I don't think that if you're going to take photos every other week or something like that, you should invest in the Leica. But again, it's just my personal thought. It really depends on your economic situation and a lot of other things to consider. But I really believe that the main thing you need to ask yourself is how much you're going to use it. And I thought about this question in my last video when I got my first bad reaction comment in my channel. And this comment was really shaking my thoughts in the day that I saw it, but it made me think that if I agree with this or not. What happened basically is that I uploaded a POV video from my street photography on a week that I really didn't want to do anything else but taking photos. And I shared all of my photos pretty much from the same day, both the bad and the good one, because I wanted to give you the experience that I had and show you that not all the photos is great. Most of them are not very usable. But you know, it's something you need to do to become a better photographer. So someone commented on this video that he does something like he didn't understand why to buy such an expensive camera to do so bad photography. And I think that I'm not completely agree with his comment, because I use this camera every day and I take this with me everywhere. Most of my photos are not good, understatement, they're bad. And that's okay, because it's not that like I'm taking photos for decades and this is my finest work to show you and to sell for hundreds of dollars. No, I just like street photography and I like photography in general, and I think this is the way to progress. So back to the video, I think that if you are choosing a camera that inspiring you to take more photos. This is the whole point of getting better in photography. That's how I believe. And the Ricoh and the Leica did this inspiration thing for me in photography. And the Fuji really didn't. I didn't want to take photos at all with the Fuji, but as I said, I really believe that's just my problem. And this is an incredible camera, the Fuji X100V. I'm sure that it is suitable for most people, and I would get used to it if I try a little longer. But you know what? Every one of those three cameras is absolutely incredible. And I really, really believe that the most influencing thing on your photos is not the camera or the gear that you're using, it's the box behind the camera, it's you and how do you compose your photos and your edit style and everything else. And I know you probably think, oh, that's easy talking with the Leica, the great color sense and image quality, and that's true. But I think that I don't want to be the kind of photographer who relies on the camera gear that I own. I want to be able to take good photos with every camera that I own. And I want to share with you now a couple of photos from my iPhone 13 Pro Max, a 2 years old camera phone. And I find myself taking much more photos with my phone as well as with the Leica because I have better eye for composition because I'm doing this a lot. So until now this video was all over the place. I'm sorry if I lost you on the way, but to cut things short, I think that the Leica Q3 is the best image quality, build quality, you know, just the luxury, the BMW of the cameras. And the Ricoh GR3 is the most fun to use, you know. I love the snap focus option. I love that I can fit it to my pockets and take it with me everywhere. And the Fuji is really somewhere in between. It's very fun to play with all the simulation and the vintage look of the build quality. It's a really nice camera. I think that this will be the right choice for maybe most people that want to choose between those three cameras, because of this price-value comparison. If you're just starting out in street photography, I think the Ricoh is the best maybe option for you because it's really unnoticeable and it's just really inspiring to start things going. I really enjoy this in my first street photography journey. And if you can afford the Leica system and you feel like you're going to use it a lot and take really the maximum out of it, I know that you wouldn't regret this buying. The Leica system and the Leica Q series in particular is something beyond of this world. I'm not exaggerating. It's different from any other system. That's my personal thoughts about this camera after using it over a year now. Tell me in the comments, what do you think about those cameras? Have you tried them or you're considering to buying one of them? Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.